Hi guys, this is Sadek from Dwetin.com, and in this video, we'll show you how to install the MIUI Fastboot ROM using Mi Flash tool on any Xiaomi, Redmi and Poco phone. So this method could come in handy if you are planning to go back from a custom ROM to the stock MIUI ecosystem, or if your phone is currently in a boot loop or a softbrick state and you cannot access the OS, then you could easily boot to fastboot mode, flash the fastboot ROM, and then your phone will be up and running back again. So if you're planning to unbreak your phone or simply want to go back to the stock ROM from a custom ROM, then in both these cases you could use this Mi Flash tool. So on that note, let me show you how to carry out this process. First and foremost, please take a backup of all the data on your phone because the process will wipe off all the data. So take a backup and then let's proceed ahead. So first of all, you'll have to install the Android SDK platform tools. This is the official ADB binary given by Google and is required to execute ADB commands. So download it from the link given in my guide and then extract them onto your PC. In my case, I've done the extraction in E drive. As you could see, you could extract them anywhere you want. Once that is done, you'll next have to enable USB debugging and OEM unlocking. For that, go to the settings menu on your phone. From settings menu, you have to go to about phone, then tap on MIUI version 7 times. This will enable developer option. Now go back and then go to additional settings. You should now see developer option. So go there and enable the toggle next to OEM unlocking as well as USB debugging. You will get a prompt and all the risks which are there. So just check mark it and then tap on OK. You have to wait for 10 seconds and then tap OK. Once that is done, debugging is now enabled and you might now get a prompt on your phone. So if you get a prompt, just tap on allow or OK and the connection stands successful. So let's now verify the ADB debugging connection. For that, go to the platform tools folder and type in CMD in the address bar and hit enter. This will launch the command prompt window inside the platform tools folder directory as you could see. Now type in ADB devices and hit enter. Make sure you are getting a serial ID. In my case, I am not getting a serial ID. So let me just unplug my phone and replug it back. So let me now show you. I am now getting a prompt on my phone. So I'll tap on OK. And let's now re-verify the ADB debugging connection. So as you could see, I am not getting a prompt. So if you're not getting any prompt on your PC, then unplug and replug your phone on the PC, disable and re-enable USB debugging, tap on revoke USB debugging, use the official USB cable that came with your phone, and use the USB 2.0 port on your PC. So carry out this USB tweaks and make sure you're getting a serial ID. Once you're getting this ID, you are now good to go ahead. So next up, you'll have to unlock the bootloader on your phone. Do keep in mind that doing so will wipe off all the data from your device and it might also nullify the warranty on your phone. So if that's well and good, then do refer to our guide on how to unlock the bootloader. We have also made a video on the same. You could either check out my video or the guide. And once you have done the process, you have to use the Mi Unlock tool. Once you have done that, you will get a screen something like this, unlocked successfully. So once the bootloader has been unlocked, you could now move over to the next step. So once that is done, you will now have to download the Mi Flash tool. You can download from the link given in my guide. So download it from here and extract it onto the PC. In my case, I have done the extraction in D drive. Let me show you. This is the Mi Flash tool. Just a minute. And these are all the contents inside the Mi Flash tool as you could see. So make sure to download and extract them onto your PC as well. Once that is done, you will now have to download the Fastboot ROM for your device. Make sure to download the same ROM which corresponds to your region as well as the version number. You can download a higher version number, but you cannot download a lower version number. In other words, you cannot downgrade using Mi Flash tool. You could only upgrade your phone or install the same version number. Now for downloading the ROM, you could use any third-party site of your choice. In my case, I'm using the Xiaomi firmware updater. You are free to use any site of your choice. Moreover, my phone is currently Poco F4. So, and the region is India. So I'll be using the India version of Poco F4. Likewise, keep in mind that you have to use the Fastboot ROM. You should not use the recovery ROM and you should only use the Fastboot ROM. So download the ROM corresponding to your device, your region, and make sure it's the Fastboot ROM. You could also verify the currently installed version on your phone by going to the settings menu. From settings menu, go to about device, about phone, and then check out the MIUI version. In my case, it's SLMINXM. So from here, you could re-verify as well. So for the unaware, this is the version number. V stands for version, and this is the version number 13040. After that, the S keyword stands for Android version. So for S, it's Android 12, which is Android Snow Cone. Likewise, for T, it will be Android Tiramisu, which is Android 13. So and so on. So in my case, it's Android S, which is Android 12, Android Snow Cone. Then LM is the device code, which in our case is the Poco F4. After that, the next two alphabets are the region, which in our case is India. So it corresponds to IN. And the last two are for the firmware region. So the first is for the Android version, next two are the device code, then next two are the region, and the last two are for the firmware code. So you could verify the same using this, and make sure to download the Fastboot ROM. Once you have downloaded the Fastboot ROM, it will be in the .tgz format. So let me show you once. The ROM will be something like this. So you'll now have to extract it. For extract, you could use any third-party software of your choice. In my case, I'll be using the 7-zip. So make sure to download and install it from the official side. Once you have installed 7-zip, simply right-click on the .tgz file and select Open With. In the first time, you will not see these options. So click on Choose Another App. Then from there, scroll to the bottom and click on Choose an App on your PC. And now select the 7-zip folder, and from there select 7-zip FM. FM stands for File Manager, and click Open. This will add the 7-zip FM in the right-click menu. So let me now show you. So now just right-click on the TGZ file and select Open With, and choose the 7-zip File Manager. And it should now show the tar file. So select this tar file and extract. So the tool will now extract the tar file from the TGZ, and you will get something like this. Let me show you. You will get the TGZ in this format, in a tar file you will now get. So you will now have to again extract this tar file to get the resultant firmware. To extract the tar file, you again have to right click on this file, select Open With, and choose 7-zip File Manager. And from here, you have to again select this folder and click on Extract. It will then extract the firmware. As you could see, this is the firmware, and these are all the files of the firmware. Likewise, if you go to the images folder, you will get all the partition files in the img and .bin format corresponding to your phone. So these are all the partition file for the respective partition. For my Poco F4, the file might be different in your case depending on the phone that you use. Anyways, you should get these files and then image folder. So once you have got the extracted firmware file, you could now move over to a next step. So let's now move up to the next step. So we have got the firmware file. So next up, we have to now boot our phone to the fastboot mode. So for that, you could use two methods. If your phone is currently working well and good, then you could use the ADB command. However, if your phone is currently stuck in a boot loop or it's in a soft break, then you have to use the hardware key combination. In case of hardware key combination, you will first have to power off your phone. So for that, you have to long press the power menu for around 15 to 20 seconds. However, if you cannot power it off, then leave it unplugged and let the battery drain out. As soon as the battery drain out, connect it to the charger and then press and hold the volume up and power key for a few seconds, and it will boot to the fastboot mode. So just to repeat, you first and foremost have to power off the phone and then press and hold the power and volume down key for around 5 seconds, and it will then boot to the fastboot mode. On the other hand, if you could access your OS, so you could also use the ADB commands. So for executing ADB command, let me show you what needs to be done. For that, go to the platform tools folder, and inside the platform tools folder, open the CMD window. Now type in ADB reboot bootloader and hit enter. This will boot your phone to the fastboot mode, and the process should only take a few seconds. So let's wait while that is happening. You could refer to my guide as well for the steps. And so my phone is currently Poco F4. So the fastboot mode will be something like that as shown on the screen. If you own a Redmi phone, Redmi Note series, then the fastboot mode might be as shown in my guide. So both these signify the same fastboot mode. So let's now verify the fastboot mode, whether or not our PC is able to read our phone in fastboot mode while our phone is in the fastboot mode. But let's verify if the PC is able to read our phone in this mode. So type in fastboot devices and hit enter. Make sure you are getting a serial ID. If you're not getting a serial ID, then you will have to install fastboot drivers on your PC. For that, I made a guide as well as a video on the same. You will refer to my guide or a video and install the fastboot drivers. Once you have installed the fastboot driver, make sure you are getting a serial ID over here. And apart from that, you should also right click on the Windows icon and select Device Manager. Then expand the Android phone section and make sure under Android phone, your phone is being shown as Android bootloader interface. As you could see, Android bootloader interface. So if your phone is showing like this and it's also showing the serial ID under fastboot, then the PC is able to identify the phone in fastboot mode, and you are now good to go ahead. So now that we are in the fastboot mode, we have also verified the fastboot connection. You will now have to install the Xiaomi USB drivers. In most cases, these drivers are automatically installed the first time you plug in your device to the PC. But still, let's manually install them as well. So for that, make sure to go to the folder where you have the MIUI Flash tool. In my case, this is the MIUI Flash tool. Let me show you. So go to the MIUI Flash tool and then launch it using the Xiaomi MIUI Flash exe file. So it should take a few seconds to launch. So click on yes in the prompt that appears and the tool will now launch. Now go to the driver tab and click on install. It will now install all the drivers, and once the drivers have been installed, you would get a message of install done. So simply click on OK to end this process. In my case, I've already installed the drivers, so I may close the driver window now. So once we have installed the drivers, we could now flash the Fastboot ROM using the Mi Flash tool. So first off, click on the select button, and now you have to navigate to the extracted Fastboot ROM. So let me show you that process as well. So in my case, in the D drive, so under Xiaomi folder Fastboot ROM, you have to select the entire folder and not just the image file. Yes, make sure to select the entire folder that has the global images or the device code name in that. Select the entire folder and then hit OK. Next up comes the most important part. You now have to choose clean all from here. This will reset all the data from your phone, but it will leave the bootloader unlocked. And this is the most safest and recommended approach. You should never choose clean all and lock because it will lock the bootloader and it could spell trouble for you. So always choose clean all. So once you have done this, hit the refresh button and make sure your phone is being shown under the device section. So as you could see, it's been shown under device section. So just to re-verify, we went to the driver tab, we installed all the drivers, then we hit select, navigated to the Fastboot ROM and selected the entire Fastboot ROM folder. Then we choose clean all. You should always choose clean all and then click on refresh. Make sure your device is being shown under here and it's the same device ID which we have got under the Fastboot device command, as you could verify from here as well. So these are both the same device ID. You could verify the same as well. So now that we have got this, we could now start with the flashing process. So for that, all you have to do is simply hit the flash button and let's wait for the time frame. So just hit the flash and the flashing will now begin. So as you could see, the flashing has started. You could keep a track of the same using the status section and keep in mind that the maximum amount of time is taken while flashing the super.img file. This is because the super partition has all the important files such as the system, VB, meta, vendor files, and it's always the system.super.img file that takes the maximum amount of time frame. So let me just show you as well. Currently it's the non-HSOL. So these files are usually short in size, around 50 to 100 MB, and it will not take much time. And this is the main file which will take up to around, I guess it could take up to 3 to 4 minutes as well. So that's not a cause of concern and you should wait while that is happening. And the tool has some UI glitch as well. As you could see, I have expanded this section, so the bar has simply moved forward. That's not a cause of concern. You could simply expand and minimize it and it might come. Even it's not there, you could still verify the process by the status bar. So it's currently flashing. You have to minimize the section and it will be back in its original position. If you are flashing from over a custom ROM, then the process will take a few additional minutes. On the other hand, if you're flashing directly over the MIUI stock ROM, then the process is usually shorter. And moreover, as I have told you before, it's the super.img file. Let me show you once again. It's the super.img file that takes the maximum amount of time. So you should not worry and just leave it in that state. And for the time frame, you should not interact with the phone as well. So this is the file that takes most of the time. So let's wait for the time frame. In the meantime, I'd like to discuss something important with you as well. So first off, once you have flashed the MIUI ROM, right after the flashing is complete, you might get an error message such as error not cache checkpoint, flash is not done. This is just a false positive and nothing to worry about. The flashing is completed successfully. The flash is not done is just an error message which should be simply ignored, and it usually happens once you have flashed the complete firmware. So once the flashing is done, you might get this error message, but it's just a false notion. The flashing has indeed been completed successfully and you are getting this error message because you have selected flash clean all. Since we have chosen the clean all option, let me show you. Since we have chosen the clean all option which will leave the bootloader in an unlocked state, that is why we are getting this error message. It's nothing to worry about and it's completely normal. Yes, and talking about the 3 modes, in clean all, it will reset all the data on your phone but leave the bootloader unlocked. Likewise, the second option is the save user data. It will save the data and leave the bootloader unlocked. And the third option will reset your phone, but it will lock the device bootloader. So the first one is the highly recommended. This is because if you opt for the second method, the save user data, then preserving the data has led to many encryption and decryption issue beginning from Android 12 and MIUI 13. So you should not select this option, rather take a backup beforehand and select clean all. And we have not chosen clean all and lock because if something goes wrong during the process and if the bootloader has been locked, then you are out of luck and you will not be able to recover your phone. But if you choose simply clean all and if something goes wrong during flashing, then the bootloader is still unlocked and you could easily flash the Fastboot ROM once again and bring your device back to life. So you should always choose the clean all option and never choose clean all and lock. And if you want to lock the bootloader as well, then also choose the clean all option. And once you are into the OS, you could then manually relock the bootloader using the Mi Flash tool, Mi Unlock tool. So please always choose the clean all option and never choose either of the two options. Apart from that, as I already told you before, this error is also not a cause of concern, and it could happen that you might even not get this error. The error only appears in some cases and not in every cases. So currently the flashing is going on and it's flashing the super.img file, as you could see. And as I told you before, in my case the flashing takes up to 600 seconds. That's completely normal. And so let me discuss one more important fact with you. So as you might have noticed, the Mi Flash tool which we are using is of the version 2018 release. It's quite an older build, as you could see, and there have been newer release of 2019, 20 and 21 as well, but none of those versions worked for me. In my case, only the version 2018 has been worked, so I always use this version. You are free to choose any version of your choice, but if you want to take a fail-safe approach, I would recommend you to only opt for the same version itself. Also, I have linked the same version in my guide as well. So if you download the Mi Flash tool from my guide, then you will only get this version itself. I have not linked any higher version because that did not work for me. So if you go to the step 3 and download the Mi Flash tool from the link given in my guide, so as you could verify from here as well, the firmware version is of the 2018 release. This is because it's the only version which worked for me. So I have not taken any risk and only used this version. You could also verify from the either from the header section of the tool, or apart from that you could also verify from the MIUI flash file name as well. So guys, the flashing is going on and let's wait for the time frame. As I've told you before, this takes the maximum amount of time, so let's wait while that is happening. So guys, as you could see, the flashing is now completed and you should get a success message. Likewise, on the phone should automatically boot to the OS. As soon as you see the success message over here, your phone will now boot to the OS, and in the tool as well, it should show the flash done and the green bar should be completely filled. In my case, the flashing took around 12 minutes, the overall flashing from the start till finish, and out of those 12 minutes, around 9 to 10 minutes were taken by the super.img file. So that is the file which takes the most amount of time, and once that is done, the rest of the file only took a couple of minutes. So once the flashing is done, you could now close this window, and as I have told you before, some of you might get this error message. Just to re-verify, reconfirm, some of you might get this error prompt, something like this. So it's not a cause of concern. Your phone will boot to the OS without any issues. It's just a false notion and you could easily close the Mi Flash tool. So anyways, we are now done with the process and you are now good to go ahead and simply close the tool. Do keep in mind that the first boot up will take up a few extra minutes. That is completely normal, and my phone is now booted to the OS. Let me now set up. So it's asking for the account, so let me now type in my Mi account via the password. So I have now logged into my device, so let's now continue the setup. I'll simply skip the initial setup process and boot to the OS, and I will show you the status of the OS as well. So just let me agree to the terms and conditions and skip this step. So let's skip this as well and let's go to the next step. Currently I'm not signing into any account. If you want to restore the data, then you could please sign in right now itself and restore all the data from the Google account if you have a backup. In my case, I'll be skipping this method for now. So let's quickly go through this step as well, which will only take a few seconds. Is finding the Google account and the backup, which I'll skip here. I'll not enter any account password and information as of now. So let's skip this step as well. And the process, the first time setup usually takes up to a minute, and from the subsequent boot up it will not take that much time because it will directly boot to the OS. Only the first time setup takes some time. So let's skip this as well and skip the Google account as well, and I'll currently skip this as well and skip the security as well. Okay, and my phone should now boot to the OS. It's the, I guess, the last few setups. So the setup is complete and it will now load the app and should take only around 10 to 15 seconds, and after that it will boot to the OS. So since our device has undergone a reset, you will now only get the Plotware apps, or in other words the pre-installed apps on your phone, and no third-party apps until you log in via Google account. So as you could see, we are now under the OS. It's let me verify the version as well. So let's go to the settings menu on about phone. If I go here, you could see it's a MIUI version 13.0.40 SL which is the same as I've shown you on my PC as well. You could see this is the same version which I've installed using the Mi Flash tool. So guys, on that note, I round off this video. If you have any queries, do let me know in the comment section. And guys, please like this video and subscribe to this channel for more